Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 3 of the Molecule Australia TCR League, brought to you by Procar here on the InterSim Esports Network. Your Tuesday night of viewing, your location is Brands Hatch Circuit. Of course, my name's Aidan Schultz. Joining me in the booth tonight, as always, is Paul Jackson, and we've just had a special guest jump up in the broadcast booth, none other than the 22 of Jared Knight. Good evening to you, gentlemen.
G'day, Aidan. Thanks also to PJ for having us in the booth tonight.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Good to have you up in the booth with us tonight, Jamie. Jared, sorry.
It's a good start, Paul. Good start. See, you're already thinking there's another person in the broadcast booth. You don't have to say anything. I know how your brain's working already.
Yeah, it's ticking over.
Jared, mate, unfortunate not to be behind the wheel tonight, but up here in the broadcast booth. I'm sure you're excited to see all the action here for round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR League from Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit tonight, and we will go up and have a look at the track information tonight as the drivers are in this 15-minute qualifying session as we go live. So there's your track information tonight. It is the Indy layout, so the short layout here tonight, Jared, across country, the virtual United Kingdom. In England, I don't know what city that says, I can't see that. You got your temperature at an altitude of 141 metres. Of course, myself, Paul Jackson here in the broadcast booth, and Jared is a special guest. So Jared, you'd be excited in the broadcast booth. You'd much rather be behind the wheel, but how good is this going to be calling 3:24 laps around Brands Hatch in the Indy format tonight?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, would prefer to be behind the wheel in the sim, but this is a second best thing. I did get the chance to put in a few laps earlier in the week, and yeah, it'll provide for some pretty good racing. It's quite a short lap, but still some reasonable overtaking areas.
Well, Adrian Gretcher on board at the moment. He's currently in the 7th position in the 63. How good does that livery look? Reminds me of the old school TCR liveries for Audi, where they used to have the red circles up the side, not the black. But a beautiful livery there by Adrian Gretsch. He's currently in the 9th position now, but no surprise, Jamie Craig up to the point here in this qualifying session. He holds the provisional pole with a 48.72. Damon Mulqueen out of New Zealand currently second with a 48.91, and Adam Proctor rounding out your 3. But in saying that, Anthony Holmes just jumped up into 2nd place with a 48.89. So as we're 4 minutes into this 15-minute qualifying session, Jamie Craig setting the pace early, but we're going to see things change very rapidly in the next 12 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm just going to have to not talk before we go live, Aidan. I'll give you stuff to talk about. You stole those words right out of my mouth, with that paint. But good to see a few drivers got some paint schemes back, and Anthony Holm going with his, as I called it, a zebra paint job there. So good to see that back on the car there.
Well, mate, I've got to steal it out of your mouth because I can't make it up on the fly, so I need all the information I can get before we go live so it doesn't make me look like an idiot. I do a good enough job of that myself, let alone that. But still Jamie Craig, Anthony Holm, Damon Mulqueen, Adam Proctor, and Angus Cook now up into the 5th position with a 48.99. So about 0.2 of a second between the 1st and 5th position here provisionally in the qualifying session ahead of round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR League from Brands Hatch. But Jared, just over to you again, mate. I don't know if you've been in the broadcast booth before. Give the viewers a little bit of an insight into Jared Knight and the 22, always there or thereabouts and everything we've called. So a little bit of an insight into Jared Knight. Has he done any commentary? Obviously you're good behind the wheel, but give you a couple of minutes in the sun, mate.
I can't say I've done anything in the commentary booth, but and yeah, definitely not in the booth at the end of the night as much as I'd like. But yeah, just sort of new to the sim game, I'd say. Only been doing it for a couple of years, from sort of around COVID times, which I'm sure a lot of people have sort of got on the iRacing system around that. But yeah, no real life racing experience. Just purely and solely behind the sim, and yeah, it's nice to have a bit of pace, I guess. But as we see, one of my teammates here, Dan Green, he's been a little bit speedy, or speedier than he was last season. He seems to like these front wheel TCR cars. Same with other teammate Russ Green. I can't really see where he's in the standings at the moment.
Russ Green's currently in the 10th position, mate. He's got a 48.98, so both your teammates currently provisionally inside the top 10. So a good drive by those drivers so far. We did see him in last season. We've mentioned this on the broadcast here for the next season of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR League, but we did broadcast the Blendline TV Procar GT eChampionship last season, which was in the Porsches. So a little bit of a different car here heading into this season, and good to see a couple of different names up the front here. Of course, Jamie Craig was quick in the Procar as Tayfun Ozturkman. He's coming off a few good results. He nearly got a podium last week as well. I think he did get a podium in one of the races Tayfun did. So that was a reverse grid race. He did really well. So Tayfun adapting really well to these TCR cars as well. And he's currently 13th position in the qualifying session. So Tayfun is going to be there or thereabouts again tonight. So Tayfun ever improving. He ran Indy cars with me last night as well. So he's liking to spread his wings and sort of try and adapt to different styles of racing. So good to see Tayfun up there. He's now just dropped back into the 14th position as Dimitri Agathos, who's got a lot of real-world racing. He's just He's just jumped up into the 13th position with a 49.13. Our man Stevie Skukovic, though, Paul, he's my man. I'm putting him under the bus already. He's in 12th. I spoke about him a lot last week, and I don't think he finished a race, so I think that's probably the only time I'm going to speak about him tonight.
Well, Aidan, you know this is coming because week in, week out, you say our man Stevie Skukovic, but tonight he's your man because tonight my man's Tayfun Ozturkman. So I've got to give a shout out while we're on board with Tayfun here. So after the first 2 weeks, Tayfun done up a little bit of a stats chart there for the first 2 rounds. So as you can see on screen there now, so the championship standings currently, you got Jamie Craig with a 547, Anthony Holm 522, Adam Proctor 415, Colby Cohen 396, and Dan Smith with 370, which is your top 5 there. And if you have a look through some of those stats there, so out of the 6 races for the 2 rounds we've had, Jamie Craig's had 4 wins there, Anthony Holmes had 1, and Garth Duffy's had 1. And if you look at those podiums there as well, Adam Proctor's had 4 podiums along with Jamie Craig. So Adam Proctor's really battling hard there, always finding himself on the podium. He just can't get that win.
Yeah, Adam Proctor always there or thereabouts. Currently 4th in the practice session, but how good is that by Tayfun to do that up for us? That gives the viewers a little bit of an insight into averages, trophy collectors, pace setters, movers and shakers. The sin bin's the one that I really like to see. It's good to see Dave Oliver do photo in the sin bin. Always good to see him in the sin bin, mate.
I'm surprised Budge isn't in the sin bin. How is he not in the sin bin?
Well, Budgie's got his chance tonight, mate. He's 18th in the practice and the qualifying session at the moment with a 49.24. So we might see Michael Budge in the sin bin tonight here for round number 3. Nighty, we'll have to bring you into this conversation, mate, as we are nearly 10 minutes into this 15-minute qualifying session. We've got our favourites, and it's not necessarily on pace. It's just someone that we've looked at over the time we've been broadcasting. Stevie Skukovic is always my man. He's a 0.85 this season. He was number 1 for the Procar GT eChampionship. We've got Tayfun Ozturkman as Paul's man. Who's going to be your man tonight, mate? And you can't choose a teammate. So here's someone to throw right under the bus here in the InSim Esports Network.
And you can't choose Jamie Craig either.
I really like Anthony Holm this year. He's jumped right up. He's really quick in these things, so he's probably got my pick for tonight. I'd like to say Stevie Skukovic as well. I know you'll hate me for that, PJ, but I'm a big fan of Stevie's work. We always have good banter, and it seems like any time I have an issue, it's around him, and he gets caught up in it somehow. So yeah, we always have good banter about that.
Well, Anthony Holm, you do mention he was quick in the Procar GT eChampionship, teammate to Jordan Mulak, who came out last week at the last moment and was fighting for the race win. Didn't quite have enough on Jamie Craig, but Anthony Holm, no surprise to see him up in the top 3 at the moment, provisionally through the qualifying session. Him obviously being your selection. So Anthony Holm, we can probably strongly suggest now, Jared, that he's not going to finish a race tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if your curse definitely translates to me, then yeah, definitely he's going to get binned at turn 1.
Mate, hopefully he doesn't. It's all jokes, it's all banter here, but we like to give him a little bit of a razzle up here on the Indosim Esports Network as we're on board with Russ Green, your teammate there. He's just dropped outside of the top 10. He's in 11th position. We'll see this time across the strike as he's just going into turn number 2 here at Brands Hatch. We'll see whether this time around he can better his time and just put that number 27 up into the top 10. He's yellow sector through sector 1, so he's got a little bit of time to find through sector 2 and 3, and he's gone yellow again. So bar a miracle, he's probably not going to better his time here coming around the last final corners here at Brands Hatch as he's going to make his way across the strike for the next time of asking. So Russ Green makes his way across the strike this time around. We'll see where that puts him. He's not going to better his time. He's in 11th at the moment. Best time of a 49.13. And that time across the strike, he has just done it's not catching up, 48.98 last time around, 49.13. So about 2/10 off his quickest time here in qualifying so far.
Yeah, just looking at the live timing here, it's amazing the spread. The field's super close this season. Just noticed Russ is in 11th, but he's only 2/10 off Jamie Craig at the top.
100%. I'll just leave you boys with it for one moment. I just need to jump away for 1 second, but I'll be straight back for the start of this motor race. So I'll just leave you guys just for 1 second.
Yeah, so we've got Dave Oliver. Good fella Dave. He does a lot for this league. It does translate into some slow lap times because he doesn't get the practice in that some guys would, like myself. But he's always there or thereabouts, and he somehow keeps it clean and always ends up towards the pointy end of the championship.
Yeah, and while we're on board with Dave Oliver there, as we always call him, do photo up in the booth, we'll have to throw him under the bus. So he thought he might get one of his teammates in to try and give Jamie Craig a bit of his run for his money tonight. So you got Damon Mulqueen on board for the race tonight. So Damon currently sitting in P5 there in qualifying. So we'll see if that's going to pan out and maybe knock Jamie Craig down a peg or two tonight.
Yeah, I'm aware of Damon Mulqueen. It's you sort of seem to get a lot of the guys from separate leagues just popping in here and there. As Dave just sends it through turn 3. It's a good community. The Australian league racing, especially this season. There's a few series running the TCRs, and you always see familiar names from other series.
And
Yes.
the
Paul.
Skypoint TCR League on a Wednesday night that we broadcast, Damon Mulqueen runs in that one, and he's definitely got his hands full with save me here, Aiden. What's his name?
I don't know where you're going there, so I can't segue that one at all, Paul. So you're under the bus. Jake Maloney. He's got his hands full with Jake Maloney.
Yeah, Jake
He's
Maloney.
taken all the points for the Skypoint. You're rubbing off on me, Paul. Skypoint TCR League. So, Damon Mulqueen's had his hands full with Jake Maloney this season. But we'll go through your starting grid here for race number 1, round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR League. It is Jamie Craig and Anthony Hulme off the front row with Brad Carr and Adam Proctor off that second row. Damon Mulqueen and Russ Green will be out of the 5th and 6th position. Colby Cohen and Angus Cook out of 7th and 8th. Brett Smith, Ricky Provenzali, Brian Green and Stevie Skukovic. Then we're going to have Dimitri Agathos, Tafanos Kirkman, Brian Bullock, Franklin, Hallinan, Budge, Gretsch, Visser, Long, Oliver, Marvis, am I reading that? Am I reading that right? Dion
Jarvis.
Dion Jarvis and Chris Stark out of 24th as the overlays are really light. And rounding out your 25 starters here tonight will be David Leslie. So we're about to go green here for race number 1. Looking forward to this one. We're going to have a triple race tonight. There will be a reverse grid too, I believe, Paul, which will be the second one as well. So where they start here for race number 1 is not where they'll start for race number 2. We'll invert the grid and we'll go green again for race number 2. And where they finish in race number 2 is where they'll start for the final race tonight and decide who gets the pleasure of talking to us up here on the InterSim Esports Network in about an hour's time. But the drivers are settled into their cars. They're getting excited. They'll be strapping down those virtual belts. They'll be getting a bit nervous too. The turn 1 at Brands Hatch, downhill off Canberra. Who's going to get the start? We're about to find out.
Well, if it's any as good as our verbal mishaps tonight, it could be a good start, Hayden.
Mate, they can do they'll do better than what we're doing. But anyway, we're about to go green. We're going to see 5 green lights come up. The revs are rising. And we are green here for round number 3, race number 1 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR League. And it is Jamie Craig getting a good jump down the inside into turn number 1 and 2. Jamie Craig and Anthony Holm have bolted off the front as they make their way through turn number 1 for the first time tonight. They'll come up into the tricky turn number 2 braking section. But Jamie Craig, oh, there's incident in the background. I can hear stuff in my ears. But Jamie Craig and Anthony Holm have absolutely bolted off at the front of this one.
Yeah.
So Jamie Craig still leading the way. He'll make his way through the final turn here at Brands Hatch, and he'll hit lead lap number 1 and 24 laps of asking tonight here for race number 1. He's got about 0.3 of a second over Anthony Holman. They have bolted over Brad Carr, Adam Proctor, Colby Cohen, Angus Cook, Dan Green, Ricky Provenzali, Russ Green and Dimitri Agathos with a good start up 3 positions, rounding out your 10 here, lap number 2 now into 24. So, Jared, nice clean start there by all drivers, no big incidents. A little bit of air on the side of caution here early for the first race.
Yeah, that's generally the way in race 1. It's everyone sort of wants to get off to a good start, and it's really pleasing to see. Everyone's sort of lined astern. Not many too many blokes making some dives.
And Brad Carr's just gone wide there through the final turn, so that's allowed Adam Proctor to get a run up the inside. So there's a change for the position down the main straight. Teammates behind him, Brad Carr, Colby Cohen. So Adam Proctor making the move here from P number 3 into turn number 1. But Brad Carr's not going to let him have it all his own way. He just settles in behind him. Will he try and return the favour up into turn number 2 under brakes? He positions the car in the mirrors. Oh, he makes a little bit of contact there on entry, but it's still game on out of turn number 2. So Adam Proctor is now clear and has got the job done over the teammates of Brad Carr and Colby Cohen and makes his way up into 3rd position. But the way that Adam Proctor was driving there, gentlemen, I'm sure that it's going to change quickly because, Brad Carr was driving there. It's going to change quickly because Brad did not like that move at all as we go back to Adrian Gretsch. He's in a little bit of a battle with Brian Bullock here at the moment as well. So Adrian Gretsch up 5 positions, if you don't mind. Started out at 19th, and Paul just changes the cameras on me again, as he always does, with Michael Budge in 16th, having a good battle there with Dave Oliver as well. So it's a lot of movement and shakers here early for race number 1, but albeit very cleanly so far.
Yeah, it's nice to see Budge not rubbing doors with blokes. He's a good racer, but I think he cops a bit of flack for some poor moves that he's made in previous series. And yeah, he's a good battler.
Well, have you just thrown him under the bus now, mate, Michael Budge? Have you just thrown him under the bus? But we're back onto the battle, Angus Cook now. So it looks like a move's been made again. So, no, Adam Proctor has driven off down into the distance. So Brad Carr, Angus Cook and Colby Cohen. Now, Angus Cook has now separated those teammates and made the move on Colby Cohen up into the 5th position. So Angus looking pacey here early for race number 1. And he's up 3 spots after starting out at 8. And he's going to go for another one down into turn number 2. And he's going to get that job done. They've made contact through the apex of the corner. There was a little bit of a hip and shoulder there as those cars off into the background. But Angus Cook was the one that got away better of that one. But I tell you what, Dan Green, his eyes lit up there and go, there you go, boys, I'm going to make a position. He's up into the fifth position now, Dan Green. So the likes of Brad Carr and Colby Cohen, they're being absolutely swamped early on here for race number 1, round number 3.
Yeah, Dan saw his opportunity down the outside and took a bit of grass and that's how Dan drives. He's a fierce competitor. If he sees a spot, he'll take it.
Well, he is your teammate, isn't he, by the looks of it as well. So, as in saying that, there's the commentator's curse. He's off in. Oh, he's going to make big contact with the wall. Has he kept it on? He has. So,
Sorry, he under the bus.
He did. That was a big throw under the bus there. Dan Green up into 4th and big send into turn number 1 into the safety trap or the whatever you want to call it, sand trap, whatever you want to call it. And did a good job to really stop having hard impact there on that tyre barrier on the exit. So it's still fight on from him. But Tafanos Turkman there, this brings him into this little battle in the 13th position. He's getting a good run up the inside of Colby Cohen. So Colby Cohen is absolutely hemorrhaging spots here after having a really good start here for race number 1. And now you're going to see Tafanos Turkman getting the move done on Colby into turn number 1 this time around. So Tafanos Turkman, he's up 4 spots, started out of 14th, now inside the top 10. So a good drive by Tafan. So Paul, your man making good gains here early for race number 1.
Well, sad to say it, but your man's not having a good run tonight, Aiden. Steve Skukovic there dropped 11 spots. So not sure what happened to old Stevie there, but that'll definitely set him in the right place for the reverse grid race for race 2.
I can tell you exactly what happened to Steven Skukovic, mate. He had Aidan Schultz say the word Stevie Skukovic. That's exactly what happened to him tonight, but it still is Jamie Craig at the point of the race. Anthony Holm not letting him get away, though, 8 into 24. We've just gone 1/3 race distance, and it is a battle of 2 at the front at the moment, but Anthony Holm not letting him get away. So Jamie Craig just the better of Anthony Holm at the moment. But last time around, Anthony was about 1.5 tenths quicker than your race leader. So that's 3rd place at the moment. Adam Proctor, he stretched his legs over Angus Cook, who you can see in the 4th position there, just in behind him as they make their way through the final turn. So it's stretched out a little bit at the front, but it's still ding-dong battles through the middle of the field at the moment. But we're 8 into 24, a long way to go, as Dimitri Agathos there having another little bit of a moment coming onto the main straight. And that's Russ Green in behind him as well. So, no, actually my live timing hasn't catched up. So there's been an issue there because Russ Green's in the green entry. So, there's a big send in the background. And that's Dan Green in the green end. Too many greens and green cars, Paul. I'm getting confused.
Well, if both Dan and Russ were in green cars, it would make it easy. It wouldn't matter, would it? You just call anyone green and off you go, play on.
Mate, imagine if they all had last names of green. That would be interesting. And one I need to make a big mention on, though, Ricky Provenzali up into 5th. We haven't spoken about him yet for race number 1. Started out of 10th, up into 5th position. So Ricky Provenzali, quick in everything he drives. He's had a bit of bad luck this season, but he's taken advantage of all the misfortune he's had in front of him, and he's up into 5th position. He's currently lapping about 0.6 of a second slower than the leaders, but he probably would have made a move or 2 in the last lap or 2 as well. So Ricky Provenzali in the 46 entry doing a great job here for race number 1. Inside the top 5 as we see a move in the background. That was Russ Green going down the inside of Dimitri Agathos. Is he going to get that job done? Dimitri's just going to hold on the inside, and they make contact, and Russ Green's off into the grass again, so he's going to hemorrhage about 3 or 4 spots there. That was a little bit of a hip and shoulder there as it's going to keep going. He's been sent again. So Green's not going to be happy, and he's now going to have to fight his way back. He was in 11th earlier, and he had to fight his way back to the edge of the 5. And now we've got a car backwards, and we're going to see a safety car. There's cars everywhere. There is no way we're not going to see a safety car here, I wouldn't suggest. But we'll see. We'll go back to an instant replay very shortly. As Mole Queen's just being caught up in that as well. So not sure if we're going under safety car here, Paul, but Doesn't look like we are, but when the instant replay is available, we'll bring that up and see what happened there between Russ Green, Dan Green, and everyone else, and all the greens in the race. So we'll see what happens when the instant replay is available. So just two cars going into one spot there, and Dan Green, second time in that lap that he just got tagged in that rear quarter and just put him sideways. But Dan doing a good job to hold on to that car and not create a bigger accident. But then we're going to see him come into the final turn here. Dan's probably still trying to get the car under control. And, yeah, that's netcode there, and that sent the car around. So, Jared, mate, I'll bring you into this one. Both your teammates were definitely a part of that action there. How'd you see that one unfold?
Yeah, it was just a bit of door-to-door racing. Unfortunately, sometimes in these cars, it's because of the front-wheel drive, it does tend to jolt the steering, and if you come back on it, you don't always mean to. If a car's beside you don't always mean to hit him. It's just you're just trying to gather the car back up, and it looked like a bit of that. I think Dimitri made a bit of a move on Russ into turn 3 that Russ might have questions to race control about, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll see whether there's any penalties. We can see Dave Oliver in pit lane at the moment on my live timing as we're on board with Colby Cohen. Colby coming off a solid third place last night in the Global iRacing League's IndyCar Series. I raced against him last night. He just got the better of me. I'll come home in P4. Colby Cohen with a great job. So he's coming into round number 3 tonight here for the Molecule Australia Procar TCR Series with a head full of steam and doing a great job in the 7th position. He hasn't lost a spot here for the start, but he's doing a great job and going to bank a lot of points here for race number 1 if he does finish in the 7th position. That is Brett Smith just down the road from him, but have a look at the battle just in behind him down into turn number 1. This is Dimitri Agathos and Russ Green. And, Dimitri Agathos and Russ Green. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting caught up with the greens again. They're going to do my head in all night. One's blue, one's green. They're both meant to be green, but that's Russ Green making the move down the inside of Dimitri Agathos there into turn number 2. Is his teammate of Dan Green going to be able to capitalise on that one as they make their way through 3 and 4? Not quite close enough to have anything to do about it at the moment, but there's a change of position, and that was Russ Green getting the job done over Dimitri Agathos. As we are 14 into 24, time is flying, and Anthony Hull now is right up onto the back of Jamie Craig. This gap has pretty much stayed stagnant for the first 14 laps, now 15 laps tonight. They bolted down the road, 4.2 seconds the better of Adam Proctor. But is Anthony Holm going to have a dive on Jamie Craig in the next 10 laps of this one? What do you reckon, gentlemen?
Yeah, I was just looking at the live timing. They've definitely bolted from Proctor there, 4 seconds away. But they're pretty much doing identical lap times at the moment. Jamie Craig with a 49.21 and Anthony with a 49.20. So they're just I think they're happy with where they are at the moment. There's still plenty of time in this race.
Yeah, plenty of time. It's going to be interesting to see whether there is going to be a battle, or they're happy that at the moment they're going to be starting off that final row for the reverse grid race number 2. But do they want to start last or second last, as they're 4.5 seconds in front of Adam Proctor and currently lapping about 0.2 of a second quicker than your third place getter at the moment, and about 0.5, half a second quicker than the rest of the field. So bar anything going drastically wrong, those two are going to pretty much take first and second here for race number 1, round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. But Brett Smith there in the 6th position. He's got Colby Cohen all over the back of him. Brett Smith, just a lap or 2 ago, we saw him make the move for the 6th position, but Colby hasn't let him go at all in the 7th. No, sorry, he didn't make the move. Colby was already in there. So Colby's closed this gap a little bit down on Brett Smith. Last time around, he took about 1/10 of a second out of Brett. So Colby in the 7th position, showing a little bit of pace here through the 3/4 section of race number 1. He's trying to chase down Brett Smith. We'll see whether he can get the job done in the closing laps of this one, as there's still too wide in the background, as it's Dan Green going through the inside. I think I got it right for the first time tonight. Dan Green going through the inside there in the green car. So save me, boys. There's too much green going on.
Well,
Yeah, just
oh, sorry there, Jared.
sorry, PJ. It was just he flicked onto Dion Jarvis. He's been the biggest mover of the field in this race. He's up 11 spots from his grid spot, so he's pushing along real well.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. He's lapping about 0.2 of a second quicker than everyone in front of him at the moment too. So his car's getting better and better as this race does progress. So Dion Jarvis making his way up. He's going to 108. That's Martin Hallinan in front of him here going down the main straight. So is he going to be close enough to make yet another spot here for race number 1? That'll be for the 11th and 12th position. So not quite close enough into 1 this time around. We'll see whether he can set himself up for a passing move on the inside here into turn number 2. He just gets a little bit of push there on the exit of turn number 2. He's going to try and get the switch back here into turn number 2, which will put him on the wrong side of the road for turn number 3, but can't quite get that job done as well. So Dion Jarvis there still just sitting in the 12th position, but I'm sure there's going to be a move for the 11th position very, very, very shortly from Dion Jarvis over Martin Hallinan, Jensen.
Yeah, 100%. I'd say what Dion's done is he's just saved his tyres for the first portion of the race, and yeah, he's coming home strong towards the back end. So yeah, Martin's got his hands full here.
What that's going to do for these drivers, though, with Dion Jarvis up starting 23rd at the back of the field, it's going to put him right into the mix of it at the start for race number 2. So not sure, well, it's all about a bag of points, but not sure how that's going to end in the reverse grid race number 2. But I tell you what, we'll get to that shortly. We're now 19 to 24, and he's gone around the outside. He's going to be on the right side of the road this time to get the job done on Martin Hallinan. Is Martin going to be friendly to him? No, he pinches him down into the exit. So into the entry rather. Martin still holds on that outside line. You're going to see Dion Jarvis just slip in behind him and try and get that toe again. So Dion's had a dive. He showed his cards, but Martin Hallinan says, no, Dion, you're not going up the inside there. And it's still Martin Hallinan and Dion Jarvis, 11th and 12th in this motor race. But they come down the main straight for the next time asking, and Dion in the 32 getting a good run. Martin Hallinan's going to cover him off into 1, or is he? He's just going to open that steering wheel. Dion has to back out again. Oh, my God. Good racing by these drivers here to not make contact. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to make the first mistake? So Martin Hallinan still holding on, but I tell you what, they're ranging up onto the battle in front of them as well. That's Dimitri Agathos and Dan Green just in front of them. So, sorry, they're lap cars, sorry, I'm looking at the live timing wrong. But Dimitri Agathos just a little bit up the road. But they're ranging up on Dimitri ever so slowly. But that is a lap car of Adrian Gretsch, I believe, just in front of the battle. So Adrian Gretsch in that stunning livery is just sort of in a little bit of no man's land at the moment after not the best start here for race number 1. There's Dimitri just in front of him. But this has allowed Martin Hallinan to just get a little bit of a toe and extend that gap on Dion Jarvis, but in saying that, Dion's got a good run out of 1 and 2, and you see him again trying to have a look around the outside into 2, and can't quite get that job done. But Jared, great racing tonight. We're already in 21 into 24. It happened so quickly up here in the broadcast booth as Jamie Craig and Anthony Hulme make their way across the start-finish line. We go 3 laps to go, lap 22 or 24. You've got to be liking the racing that you're seeing out here tonight.
It's good battling by the boys tonight. As we got Jamie Craig and Anthony Hulme on screen, they've stretched their legs there, brought that out to nearly 7 seconds now. So yeah, as good as a race win is, it's all about the last race, and yeah, we've got the reverse grid or the invert grid for race 2, which always throws up chaos, as you guys would know.
Well, let the viewers know a little bit about the reverse grid or the way the points work here for the Molecule Australia Procar TCR eSeries. Do they accumulate points across the first 2 races, or it's all the points for the final race?
Yeah, no, that's there's races for the first 2, but yeah, it's obviously designed to shake up like race winners and guys that are battling up the front. It's nice to have 3 different race winners, as we did last week, I believe. There was 3 different race winners. So yeah, it's sort of opens it up to anyone having a good day, because yeah, these cars are difficult, but yeah, gives someone a run in the spotlight, and makes the quick boys battle from the back.
Well, we're going to see that in about 5 minutes' time, but we've still got 2 more laps to navigate here around Brands Hatch for round number 3, race number 1 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. It's Jamie Craig still leading the way on from Anthony Holm down into turn number 1. Will Anthony want to have a dive on Jamie the way I've seen this race pan out in the previous 22 laps, and we're gone white flag? My apologies, ladies and gentlemen, it's my live timing just stuffed up. But by the looks of it, he's not going to be close enough, and he's not going to want to do that. He's just sitting in there getting a big chunk of points, and he's going to try and send it from the back. So Jamie Craig leading the way here, just a couple of more corners to navigate, and we're going to see Jamie Craig a winner again here for the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series, albeit race number 1. But coming across the line here for race number 1, round number 3, will be Jamie Craig taking the win over Anthony Holm. And they had a big margin there. You'll see Adam Proctor in about 8 seconds' time make his way across the start-finish line. And there he is there, Adam Proctor coming home in P number 3. Angus Cook with a good drive out of P8, finishing 4th. And Ricky Provenzali will round out your 5 as all the drivers just make their way across the line here for race number 1. We'll bring you all the finishing positions very shortly before we go into race number 2. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get through them all because race number 2 comes up pretty quickly. So I'll just go through your finishing order as they come across, because I'm not sure we're going to actually be able to bring up the results before we go live here for race number 2. So it was Jamie Craig, Anthony Holm, Adam Proctor, Angus Cook and Ricky Provenzali, your 5 here for race number 1. Colby Cohen, Brett Smith, Russ Green, Dan Green and Gion Jarvis, your 10. And that's exactly what's happened. But here's your starting grid. The reverse grid here for race number 2. It'll be Dave Oliver and Long off the front row. Adrian Gretsch and Damon Mulqueen off your second row. Tafanos Turkman and Brad Carr off your third row. Andrew Franklin and, that's just moved on me, Michael Budge off your 4th row. Stevie Skukovic and David Leslie off your 5th row. Wayne Visser and Brian Bullock starting off your 6th row. In the 7th row will be Martin Hallinan and Dimitri Agathos. We've got Stark and Jarvis, Green and Green, just to throw it out of me. They had to be side by side, didn't they? Brett Smith, Colby Cohen, Ricky Provenzali, Angus Cook, Adam Proctor, Anthony Holm, your second place getter for race number 1. And your winner of race number 1 will start right down the back. He won't even be able to see the leaders, and that's Jamie Craig in the 25th position here for race number 2. Looking forward to this one, boys. Reverse grid, it never disappoints.
Yeah, it always provides chaos, as I said before. It's always a struggle to get through lap 1 in race 2, but I'm pretty sure we had a reasonably clean race 2 last week. So hopefully the boys keep that up. It looks like they might have given them a little bit more time to grid up for this race.
Well,
yeah,
Aiden,
sorry, you go.
Jump in there. We did this last week, and we might have to do it again this week. Why don't we jump on board in the cockpit of someone in the middle there, and we'll go for a couple of laps off the starting grid.
100%. Well, Jared, first time in the broadcast booth, select a driver, and we'll watch the start here, race number 2, round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series from a driver of your choice.
All right, we'll go right in the middle. We'll go P13, Martin Hallinan.
Martin Hallinan, the man, who was in a ding-dong battle with Dion Jarvis in race number 1, so we'll go on board. We'll go on board when he decides to actually have a race. So it's always the way. The one you select decides to do it. So he's not gridded.
Maybe he didn't grid. Oh.
So Brian Bullock is the man then. We've changed it on the fly. We're about to go green here for race number 2, ladies and gentlemen. You're on board with Brian Bullock in the number 60. I'll be quiet for a couple of laps. Enjoy the TCRs here around Brands Hatch in the Indy circuit.
Yeah, I know he was having some issues. Oh, it's a big lick. That's Dimitri, I believe.
Yeah, that is, and we are live there, Jared. So Paul, sometimes when he's talking in your ear, he can't be heard on the broadcast.
Oh, my apologies.
That's all right, mate. That's all right. You're not the first one to do it. You're not going to be the last. But there you go. That was a lap on board at the start of race number 2. But I tell you what, it's on through here. We've got a car blinking. We'll go back to the instant replay and have a little bit of a look at what happened here. So a big incident coming out of turn number 2. We just have a look down into turn number 3. We'll see what happens here. Car getting off onto the grass. He's going to probably grab a bit of... Yeah, that's not the one at the moment. All right, so this is the incident here. So Adrian Gretsch into turn number 1. Turn number 1, and that's just fired Gretsch in the 63 straight into the outside wall. And that is not the way that he wanted to start the reverse grid here for race number 2. But I tell you what, the man up the front at the moment, as we see a battle here between Michael Budge. He's having a nice little battle with Stevie Skukovic, Brad Carr and the likes. But the man at the front, as we keep on with this battle, I'll just mention the man at the front. Dave Oliver, do photo. Is he going to be able to win this one, Jared? He's up the front. If we put a commentator's curse on him, do photo. We love giving him a little bit of rubbish here on the Anderson Esports Network, but he's had a good start here. He started off the pole position, and he's now got a second on the rest of the field, but he's got another 24 TCRs absolutely hot on his heels, going to try and take that away from him tonight for race number 2.
Dave is when he does get to the front of the field, he's very good at controlling the field. So it will be interesting to see if he's got a nice quick guy in Damon Mulqueen behind him, but yeah, Dave can control a race really nicely. So yeah, hopefully we don't put the moniker on him, and then he can stretch his legs and run for the win.
We'll see how he goes. But Paul will like this. Have a look who's in third. My man Stevie Skukovic actually beat Tafen in the first race after Tafen fighting for the top 10. He must have had something happen in the first race in that big wreck. So Tafen now up into third position here for the reverse grid. I'm having a little bit of deja vu, but a different track to race number 2, round number 2 last week, Paul. We saw Tafen in a very identical position, and he was able to hold on for a podium here for race number 2, and it put him off the second row for the feature race. So Tafen up into the third position, but he's got an ever fast 85 of Brad Carr there in the fourth position, wanting to chase him down in this one as well. So Tafen doing a good job, but Brad Carr ranging right up onto the back of him. As we're already 5 into 24, you blink and it miss it, looks like Tafen's just opened the door then and said, there you go, mate, you can just have that position. I want to... Oh, Budgie's had a big moment in the background as well. So Michael Budge had a big moment. Andrew Franklin's now made a move up the inside of him as well. It's all happening. Andrew Franklin, it'll be good to see him get a good result here for race number 2. Not the best race number 1. Started out 7th and here in the second race, and he's up now into 5th position for race number 2 as the battle heats up in behind him.
Yeah, just looking further back through the grid, just movers and shakers for this race. It seems like the guys that won or at the front of the grid the last race slowly making their way through, probably not as fast as they'd like. We've got Jamie Craig in 15th at the moment. Angus Cook's up 12 spots, so that's good work by him, but it's a tasty battle right in the middle.
Yeah, we just saw Franklin have a big moment, and there's another moment there. That wasn't Franklin's. We go back. Franklin, he had 2 moments in one lap there. So he was in the 5th position. Now he's dropped right back to the 10th position, and Angus Cook's got the job done on him as well. So a lap that Franklin would have wanted to forget there, ending up in the grass on 2 occasions. So Franklin dropped back into the 10th position, but back up the front, Dave Oliver now has Damon Mulqueen. He's brought that gap down. It was a second just a lap and a half ago, and it's now down to a visible half a second, as you can see. So teammates, Synergy Sim Racing teammates there of Dave Oliver and Damon Mulqueen, 1 and 2, but I'll guarantee you there's going to be no team orders here, as they're both going to want to fight for the win here and start off pole position for race number 3, the feature race for round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR eChampionship. What do you reckon, Jared and Paul? Do they have team orders here from the Synergy Sim Racing guys of Dave Oliver and Damon Mulqueen? We're going to see a ding-dong battle, elbows out here for the remainder of this one.
I think Dave Oliver might be regretting putting the hand out to Damon during the week to come race with us. But yeah, we'll see how they go. Damon might be happy just to sit in behind, but yeah, I've raced Damon in a couple of other leagues, and yeah, he's very fast. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does make a move on Dave here.
Yeah, I'd suggest we're going to see it in the next couple of laps. We'll just have a look at what their lap time was last time across. It looks like the Damon just might be doing, as you suggested, just settling in behind Dave Oliver at the moment. They've got 3 seconds on Brad Carr in the 3rd position, so no point in them this stage of the race now not going 9 of 24 to really fight, because that'll allow, the more they fight, to allow Brad Carr to sort of try and bridge the gap here for the lead of the motor race. So probably smart driving there by Damon Mulqueen, just sitting in behind his teammate, trying to manage this mid to 3/4 portion of the race and worry about it with a couple of races to go, gents. A couple of laps to go.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely seems like he's, as we see a bit going on back here, Jamie Craig up amongst it. And I thought I'd jump in, and I know you guys were struggling with some of the nicknames in the commentary box last week, and if I can provide a bit of insight, I believe that maroon and blue car in front of us, Andrew Franklin, was the guy you were calling Ludo Lacroix last week. So,
and Franklin's in the
and Ludo gets sent.
Yeah, Steve Skukovic there, I think, is having a bit of net problems there. He was blinking a fair bit and ended up inside Ludo's car there.
Yeah,
Jamie's
so sorry, you go.
Just Jamie's methodically working his way through here. He's the class of the bunch of this field at the moment. He always seems to make his way up to the front, as frustrating as it is for everyone else.
So Ricky Provenzali there too. So he's in the 10th position. Ricky Provenzali. He's got Stevie Skukovic just in front of him. Adam Proctor behind him as well. Jamie Craig's just in front of this little battle. So Ricky Provenzali finishing P number 5 for race number 1 tonight. Currently in the 10th position. Started out of 21st for the reverse grid. So we just spoke about Jamie Craig, but Ricky Provenzali's had a good start to this one as well. One that won't like the start of the race was Andrew Franklin, as we saw him have more hits than Elvis here in race number 2. But down into turn number 1, once again, Adam Proctor there, just in behind. Adams covering off into turn number 2, and that's Anthony Holm, your 2nd place getter for race number 1, trying to make his way up on Adam Proctor, but Adam says, no, not happening there, mate, as we continue to make their way around. So Jamie Craig, as you mentioned, methodically making his way through the field. Anthony Holm not finding it as easy here early doors or mid-race of race number 2, as he's really getting held up there through the mid-pack. So Jamie Craig was able to make those positions a lot easier than Anthony Holm. Anthony's still doing a good job though. He's up into the 12th position and back to the leaders. So we've had a change for the lead now, and Damon Mulqueen's decided to get that job done on Dave Oliver. You can see that gap between Brad Carr slowly closed down to nearly 2 seconds, and he's decided it's my turn to go from the front as we go to the instant replay to show you how Damon Mulqueen got that job done over Dave Oliver. And it looks like that was a bit of team orders there, and Dave Oliver goes, we're hemorrhaging time here, you take the lead. And that's the lead, change the lead for the motor race, and Damon Mulqueen in the 42 takes that one. So we saw that Damon was sitting there behind, but we saw the gap also from Brad Carr. It drops from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, so I reckon that was a strategic call from the leaders of the race at the moment, with Damon just showing a little bit more pace through the mid section of this race.
Yeah, just looking at the lap times previously, Brad Carr was lapping a little bit quicker, so yeah, I think smart decision there. Dave will probably just tag on the back, and they'll drive away, and hopefully a little ding-dong battle towards the end.
Hopefully we'll see that. We'll see what Brad Carr can do. We'll just keep one eye on him. He's not driving away that fast on Tayfun Ozturkman there in 4th either. So Tayfun actually last time around set the quickest lap of that lap. So Oh, 49.42, Dion Jarvis did actually, but Tafen was quite a little bit quicker than the 3 cars in front of him. So Tafen has had a really good run here sitting in the 4th. We see just Chris Stark there had a bit of an incident, Paul. If we can go and have a look at that, if that come up on your replay. I just heard a little bit in my ear. So Chris Stark having an incident. He's in the 17th, so we'll see what happened as they make their way through here, as him and Dan Green are having a little bit to say. And, just a big tag in the right-hand rear, and that's Chris Stark off into the fence. So Dan Green not on the Christmas card list of Chris Stark at the moment, gentlemen.
Well, he managed to keep that off the wall there, so he'll be able to keep going and hopefully get a few spots back.
Yeah, the good thing with this league is that we are afforded one fast repair. So although a transit down pit lane does cost you time, you're not gonna sit in pit lane serving repairs. You can just drop in and go.
Well, you weren't going to have an opinion on that one, as your teammate was just involved in that one. So probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'll stay out of that one. Yeah, I'll stay out of that one.
But unfortunate there for both drivers. It happens, it's racing, but back at the lead, it is Damon Mulqueen and Dave Oliver. We call him Do Photo because DO Photo is his business, does a lot of real-world photography, working in the real-world racing. So, Dave Oliver, there's a little bit of a shout-out for you, mate, back into the battle between Dimitri Agathos and Dion Jarvis. So, Dion Jarvis shown a lot of pace tonight. He's up into the 5th position. He's up 11 spots after starting 16th here for the reverse grid. So Dion Jarvis up into 5th, but Dimitri Agathos all over the back of him as they make their way down into turn number 1 for the, I think that's the 16th time. I can't really read that, but 16th time. So Dion Jarvis still just holding on over Dimitri Agathos, and this is the battle for the 5th and 6th position. Jamie Craig's now made the move to 7th, I can see in the background as well. So Jamie Craig's just made the move on Budge. We're going to call Budge the Smudge because apparently he hits everything around. So Budge the Smudge has been moved back to 8th. Jamie Craig getting the better of him. So you might put nicknames up for me there, Jared, but I just make them up on the fly, mate. You know I talk rubbish. You've watched plenty of my broadcasts back, and now you're witnessing it first hand here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, mate, I'm well aware of your nicknames. I believe we got the doctor from last week, Adam Proctor.
Yeah, the Dr. Proctor.
Yeah, just tucked in behind Ricky Provenzali. It's a nice little 6-car battle pack going on here.
Well, we'll see what the Doctor can do. He's in 11th position. He gets a good run out of turn number 1. Oh, pushes a little bit through the exit there. So he's going to... Oh, I thought he was going to send it on in. There's going to be contact.
Little bump and run.
Gives him a bit of medicine there and goes straight up the inside out of turn number 2. So there... there's more contact. So the Doctor writes a script.
I believe.
The Doctor wrote a script from Ricky Provenzali. Ricky Provenzali didn't cash it, and then there was incidents behind, but they're all still going. So there's some more puns there on the Intersim Esports Network for you, gents.
You're full of them tonight, Aiden.
Hey, mate.
I said you're full of them tonight, mate.
Just tonight. Just tonight.
He's full of it every night. Come on.
Mate, they can get better. They can get better. We've still got another 45 minutes of broadcasting.
Another race to go.
Strap yourself in. But still, Ricky Provenzali. I haven't come up with a nickname for him yet. Probably some that come to mind are probably not appropriate for the broadcast, but we'll just leave that alone before I come up with another one.
We could call him Pickle Rick.
Oh, you can call him that one. Well, at least he didn't change the R with a D, but... Anyway, we'll keep on with that one. But
you haven't seen the cartoon, obviously.
No, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I don't know if you were actually live then when we were talking about that, Paul, and I'm hoping you weren't. Yeah, righto. That was good. Save me, Jared. Save me.
I think we'll just leave that where it is. We'll let that one through to the keeper.
So Ricky Provenzali there in the 11th position. He's still trying to chase down Adam the Dr. Proctor, but back to Tafanos Turkman. He is still holding down that 4th position. He's got a nice little gap now over Dion Jarvis up in the background, and he's only got another 5 laps to hold on to this. We're going to see Tafan take another big chunk of points here. Yeah, making up stuff again. See, a nice big chunk of points here for race number 2. Dion Jarvis, so still got Dimitri Agathos all over the back of him, trying to make a run for a top 5 position here for race number 2. So we'll see whether Dimitri Agathos wants to try and make a move on Dion Jarvis. He looks a little bit the quicker of the drivers at the moment here, as they just take lap 20 of 24. So just 5 to go here for race number 2, gents.
He ranges up through turn 2 there. Quality driver here, Dimitri. As you said before, he's got a lot of real-world experience in front-wheel cars, so he definitely knows how to operate these machines.
He most definitely does. He's always fast in everything he drives, Dimitri Agathos, so no surprise to see him up here having a good battle for just the outside of the top 5 at the moment. It's just going to take one mistake by Dion Jarvis, and that's going to open the door for the 66 Dimitri Agathos. But Dion, he's been driving good all night, so I'm not sure he's going to get outsmarted here. But in saying that, still 4 laps to go, and still another 4 minutes of racing for Dion Jarvis to just make that one mistake, and that'll allow Dimitri Agathos to get that move done and take a top 5 here. And in saying that, he's just pinched a inside front there into turn number 2. So no sooner did I say it, Dion Jarvis makes that small error, and that allows Dimitri Agathos to at least have a chance to try and make a move here, as he's going to be right in the draft. He's not going to have anywhere to go really into the final turn here. He's going to just have to sit there status quo and try and set Dion Jarvis up for a move into turn number 2, or possibly, if he can get a good run here off the final corner, get the job done before they make their way to turn number 1. But Dion Jarvis is going to be wise to that and cover off on the inside line, as you can see there. So he's going to make Dimitri Agathos go the long way around, or is he? Dimitri Agathos sends it into 1. We're going to see the switchback. Dion Jarvis is going to try and return the favour into turn number 2 this time around. Will he get the job done? Looks like he will, as Dimitri Agathos tries to hold on the outside through turn number 2 to be on the right side of the road for 3, but it looks like Dion Jarvis has got a good run, or has he? No, we're still too wide into turn number 3 for 5th and 6th. I tell you what good driving for those drivers, but look who's in the background now. Jamie Craig up into the 7th position. How good was that, gents? With only a couple of laps here to go for race number 2. What driving by Dion Jarvis and Dimitri Agathos.
Yeah, some great door-to-door driving by the boys there. Unfortunately for them, it has let Jamie Craig range up behind him, as you see Jamie get on the flash. Obviously wants a couple more spots for the grid for race 3.
And it looks like he's going to get that job done, as he gets a good run through turn number 1 up the inside of Dion Jarvis. Thought he was going to get 2 for 1 there, but he can't quite. So he's now got the job done on Dion Jarvis, and he's going to have his sights set on Dimitri Agathos. He's showing the intimidation there with the headlight flashes, and he's got a lot more pace. He's going to get this job done easily on Dimitri Agathos. He might even get the job done before they make it to the final corner. No, he's not. He caught a little bit of grass there. So just watch Dion Jarvis in the background too. He's going to be waiting for a mistake, and he's going to be able to capitalise as well. So we'll see how we go. We're going to go across the strike, and we go white flag. We go to your leader. It is Damon Mulqueen out of New Zealand in the 42. He's got 1.6 seconds gap on his teammate, the Synergy Sim Racing 668 of Dave Oliver. But it's been a Synergy Sim Racing masterclass here for race number 2 tonight. After starting off the front, Damon Mulqueen and Dave Oliver off the first 2 rows. Bradley Carr, he's got 0.6 of a second now behind Dave Oliver in the 3rd position. He's going to be a little bit too far behind to be able to get the job done. So it looks like that's going to be your 3 here, bar anything going wrong through the final corner here at Brands Hatch, as Damon Mulqueen leads the way out of the final turn, and he'll make his way down the main straight. And Damon Mulqueen, the 42 Synergy Sim Racing entry, will take race number 2, round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. And Dave Oliver holds on for 2nd place, with Brad Carr and your man Paul Tafanos-Turkman coming home with a solid top 5 in 4th. And Jamie Craig, 20 positions from his starting position, if you don't mind, coming home with a P5, gents.
Yeah, as we say, a nice run to the line here. Dan Green and Anthony Holm, my man for the night. Looks like he had his struggles through that race, unfortunately. That was a class race by Damon, though. Just bided his time behind Dave and made the move and didn't look back.
Yeah, 100%. It was that mid section of the race. He sat in behind Dave Oliver, and he thought that they'd be able to pull away, but as soon as he saw that relative drop between himself and Brad Carr in the third position, he decided to make that the definitive move for the lead. And that's what got him the win and what allowed it to be a Synergy Sim Racing 1-2 here for race number 2. But ladies and gentlemen, we are into the 5-minute warm-up session here. Before we go and bring you all the action here for the final race of round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. Of course, a big shout out to iKitchen Joinery, everything kitchen, everything joinery, big sponsor here of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. Jump on board with them through your socials, through the World Wide Web. Support the people that support the iRacing community. Without those guys, we would not be going racing and we would not have a broadcast. Well, it's not our sponsor, but we'd not be able to bring you the broadcast. So jump on and support the people that support the iRacing community. Of course, Molecule Australia, you want to keep your helmet fresh in the real world. You want to keep your suit fresh in the real world. If you've got smelly feet like me and you want to keep your boots fresh in the real world, or even your sim racing gear, Molecule Australia has all the products that you will need. So jump on to Molecule Australia, exactly as they say in their slogan, keep it clean. It's not only racing, but your racing gear as well. Molecule Australia, jump onto them through your socials or the website or anywhere you can find them. Just Google them. You'll find them real quickly and you'll be able to find all your products you need to be able to keep all your racing gear smelling and looking absolutely amazing. But I'll go quiet for a couple of minutes here, ladies and gentlemen, as we are just a minute or so into this 5-minute warm-up session. I'll go catch my breath. I'll go get a drink of water and I'll be back very shortly and we'll bring you all the action here for race number 3, round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series from Brands Hatch. So we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Just went away and had a little bit of a bit of water and drink. Because I tell you what, I like the sound of my own voice. Thank God I got Jared and Paul in the box with me tonight because I like the sound of my own voice. But we're into the the warm-up session. We're just about 4 minutes into this 5-minute warm-up session before we're going to drop the green flag here for the final race, race number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar Procar TCR E-Series. See, I did it, Paul. It's the first time this season I've done it. And I thought I was going to do it at round number 1. So it's the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. But boys, race number 1 and race number 2 didn't disappoint. You've got to be strapping yourself in, absolutely excited for what we're about to see for race number 3.
Yeah, 100%. It's really mixed the grid up. There's some quick guys that have made their way to the front, and some of them have struggled in that race too. So they're about mid-pack. So yeah, might be a little bit more chaos through race 3 than we first saw, I reckon.
We could see that through the mid-packer race 3, but I tell you who needs to have rear view mirrors the size of side screens. It's going to be Damon Mulqueen and Dave Oliver off the front row, because Jamie Craig, your race 1 winner, and starting off the rear for race number 2, he's won a lot of races here for this season. He's going to start out at P5. So they're going to have their eyes in the mirrors very early doors in this one. But there's your grid here for race number 3, round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR eSeries. It is Damon Mulqueen from New Zealand off the front row from Synergy Sim Racing, and Dave Oliver, his teammate, off 2. We got Carr, Ozturkman, Craig, Agathos, Jarvis, Budge, Skukovic, Proctor, Green, and Home, your 12. Out of 13 tonight, I've got to go through it quickly as they're gridding up quickly. Provenzali, Smith, Cook, Stark, Green, Franklin, Coam, Gretsch, Leslie, Long, Brian Bullock, Wayne Visser, and starting off the 25th and last position here for the last race here, race number 3, is Martin Hallinan. So strap yourself in, ladies and gentlemen, if you are tuned in here on the InterSim Esports Network. Be sure to share it. Be sure to comment on our stream. Show us the love. Let us know you're enjoying the Molecule Australia Procar TCR eSeries. We're enjoying bringing it to you. Strap yourself in, because it's the final 24 laps tonight around Brands Hatch. It's Damon Mulqueen and Dave Oliver off the front row. Brad Carr and Tafen Ozturkman the second row. The revs are rising. We've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green lights. And we're green here for race number 3, with Damon Mulqueen getting a good jump on the inside line. Dave Oliver with a good jump on the outside as well as they make their way into turn number 1 and 2. Look at that. Down the inside though, Jamie Craig, what a jump out of P number 5, already into P number 2 as they make their way pretty cleanly out of turn number 1 into turn number 2. What a start there by Jamie Craig as Dave Oliver just does a bit of Morse code through turn number 2, gentlemen.
Yeah, it looked like there was a bit of trouble through 1. Oh, as we see, I think that was your man, PJ. That was Tafen. Yeah, coming unstuck through turn 3 there. Yeah, it looks like Damon might try and stretch his legs, get away from Jamie Craig early doors here. But yeah, Jamie's nice and fast. He'll just settle in behind him, I think.
Well, if we ask for another pun, we can do the nickname for Tafen. Look through that turn. He wasn't Tafen Ozturkman. He was Tafen Didn't Turn Man as he went off into the grass. So there's the pun, mate. I was waiting for it, and you get it. Lap 2 into race number 3.
Not there, mate.
You like that one?
That's fucking shocking, man.
I feel like I should mention I'm pretty sure he prefers it as Typhon, so I feel like I'm pretty sure that's how it's actually pronounced. I feel like I should mention that.
Well, I think he's going to have more issues with Typhon than Didn't Turn Man, to be honest. So I'm pretty happy with that Didn't Turn Man call after I've been pronouncing his name wrong for the last 2 years. So I feel like he's the winner of the best livery in the field. I'm not sure if you're aware. There's on the roof. It's an homage to Macho Man Randy Savage. I'm not too sure if he's picked up on that. No, we might have to see if we can get a nice little image of that as we see Dion Jarvis just trying to make a move there. He's having a nice little battle. That's Adam Proctor, the Dr. Proctor in front of him. So Adam Proctor, he's trying to give another prescription out to Dion Jarvis here early doors. So we'll see how this battle ranges out. But Dion Jarvis, he's got Ricky Provenzali in the background. I'm still yet to have a nickname for Provenzali. So I'll just hold on to that one for round 4. I think it'll give me a little bit more time to figure that one out. But Adam the Proctor Doctor up into 7th. He started out at 10th. He's doing a great job. He's shown a lot of pace tonight. He's doing a solid job here for race number 3, albeit lap 4 at 24. What we've seen in the first couple of races tonight, it's far from over. But Jamie Craig has made the move on Damon Mulqueen for the lead of the motor race, gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely, and I'll jump back in there. You're hanging there for someone to jump in.
I was segueing, and you were throwing me under the bus. Nighty muted himself. He goes, I want out of this. I'm still laughing at Patron Didn't Turn Man. So Nighty's in there probably laughing himself to death. But over to you, Paul.
Otherwise, he's set to go to the loo because he just, cracked up too much. But
sorry, I had to gather my thoughts after your little pun there.
Yeah, I do the same. That's why it's just a moment of silence for the drivers, I like to call it, and
Yeah.
then Aiden's got to jump back in again.
It's the old Schultze under the bus trick by the Paul Jackson. Aiden comes out with rubbish and he goes, well, keep talking rubbish, mate. You're doing a good job at it. But Dave Oliver in the third position. He's got Brad Carr. So, there's an incident into turn number 2. Dion Jarvis looks like he made a bit of contact there with Green. And I knew that because it's green car and I knew one of them had a green car. So I've learnt that. But we'll see if an instant replay does come up, whether it does come up. And, there's a big incident. Big incident. That's Wayne Visser involved in that one. Brett Smith involved in that. And there's cars in the wall. Will that bring out a safety car? So we go back to the instant replay. They make their way into turn number 3. Just keep an eye on the background. A blinking car. But 2 cars trying to go into the corner. Stevie was blinking. He's had a few connection issues. Contact through the mid-corner, which is just going to send the car on the outside a little bit wide onto the grass. He's going to lose it now, and he's just a passenger, and he's hoping he doesn't get collected as the cars come through. And here it goes. We're going to have big contact. And there it is, contact. And I think that was Wayne Visser, maybe? No, Wayne Visser with the innocent bystander there. And that's the end of his night here for race number 3, gentlemen.
Yeah, just in wrong spot, wrong time, unfortunately for Wayne there.
Well, still now Jamie Craig leading the way. Mole Queen still second, Dave Oliver third, Brad Carr fourth. So this little 4-car battle has extended its legs. It's got about 2 seconds over the 5th place of Anthony Holm. But I tell you what, Damon Mulqueen's not letting Jamie Craig drive away with this one, as I probably was expecting to happen. So Damon Mulqueen not allowing Jamie Craig to just run off into the distance in this one. And Dave Oliver holding on to the 3rd spot as well, and Brad Carr in 4th. So very evenly matched, these top 4 drivers at the moment, as we lap 7 into 24. Already nearly 1/3 race distance here for race number 3. This is about to heat up, especially as the tyre wear plays out, and we've seen that has made a big difference tonight, gents, too. Like, drivers are being quicker through the mid part of the race, as Dion Jarvis having a little bit of an incident in the background as well. And another car, that's Stevie Skukovic doing his best lawn mowing impression onto the start-finish line here at Brands Hatch. But we've seen through the mid section of the race the different strategy with the drivers managing their tyre wear, and we've seen that definitely change through the race. So as we see these battles do heat up, we're going to see a lot of different changes as we go mid to 3/4 way through the race.
Yeah, these cars are very temperamental on their tyres. You find, or I find in the Audi, which I drive, if you do push it too hard in the first say 3 to 5 laps, you can be struggling for the rest of the race. So, idea is to just manage yourself and then start making your way through towards the back portion.
And Angus Cook on board at the moment. He's in the 8th position. He's up 7 spots, so good start here, early doors here for race number 3 for Angus, as he just went a little bit wide on entry, but he got the car back to the apex, so that was good by Angus there. But I just need to mention there, man, again, just one more time, because you did mention before, Jared, about Tafan's livery on the top of his roof. We'll see whether we can get the pictures on the top of his roof. So Tafan, the Ike didn't turn man, Oz Turkman. It's not Tafan, I'm just going to keep saying it because I'm used to it. But I'm not sure if we can zoom in on that. We can't quite see it, but you mentioned he had a nice little livery there on the top of his car.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the inspiration for it was, but it sort of struck me when he showed his livery before the season started. So it's a nice little just a picture of old macho man Randy Savage, the late Randy Savage, old WWF wrestler, and it's quite a striking livery, which he's sort of known for, Typhon.
Yeah, well, Typhon, and I finally got it right. Typhon doing a great job, though. He's playing recovery mission, though. He did start out of 4th. He did come unstuck early on about lap number 1 with a little bit of an incident. So he's playing a little bit of a recovery mission here, just trying to regain as many points as he can after getting a good solid bag of points in race number 2, coming home in P number 4. But on to Ricky Provenzali. So he's got Colby Cohen just in front of him. Excuse me. as I just get a dry throat. So Ricky Provenzali up in there is chasing down Colby Cohen there. That is 9th and 10th on the racetrack as we see it. Adrian Gretsch there in the background, he's in 11th as well. He's up 9 positions on his starting position. So after starting P20, not the best reverse grid for Adrian Gretsch, but having a nice solid run here up into 11th position. Chris Stark, after having an incident with Green in the last race, he's moved up 4 positions after starting 16th. He's now in 12th. The 13th car behind him is Andrew Franklin. So Andrew, he had a bit of an incident. He pretty much hit everything in race number 2. He's up into 13th position. And then we go to the losers here for race number 3. Dion Jarvis just in behind him in 14th position. 15th position is Stevie Skukovic as well. So Stevie is a gentleman. He's a gentleman iRacing. He hasn't had the run that he's wanted to have here for the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series, but he's still out there lapping and trying to get the points. But back on to your race leader and championship leader, if you don't mind, coming into round number 3, and that's Jamie Craig. He's just slowly extending those legs at the front. Anthony Hulme now is caught up onto the back of Bradley Carr. So Brad Carr in the 4th position. Anthony Hulme ranging up onto the back of him, and they're slowly bridging the gap to the 3rd position to Dave Oliver as well. So expect this little battle in the coming laps as we just go half race distance to really spice up in the next 3 or 4 laps and possibly see a 3-car battle for the final position here on the podium tonight, guys.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, trying to get a nice entry through turn 2. Good exit for Anthony, but just settles in behind. He's quite speedy, Anthony, so he'll make his way past Brad here, I believe.
Yes, I reckon he's got the pace. Let's just turn up your volume, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Indosim Esports Network. We'll go on board with Anthony Hulme in the 5th position. Let's do a couple of laps and watch him fight with Brad Carr. So on board now with the 96 at Anthony Hulme. Turn up the volume. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of laps on board with the 96 Anthony Hulme as he tries to chase down Brad Carr for the 4th position. You've seen in the foreground, it's allowed Dave Oliver. He's just slowly eased that gap out in the 3rd position as well. So Dave Oliver having a little bit of a turn of foot here mid-race and doing a great job there in the Synergy Sim Racing Do Photo backed, or DO Photo, we call it Do Photo, but DO Photo backed number 668 car. So Dave Oliver doing a good job tonight, but this battle for 4th, it's one to keep an eye on. We've got a good battle though in the pack between Ricky Provenzali and Dion Jarvis. So I can see that on my live timing. Dion Jarvis ranging right up onto the back of Ricky Provenzali. Dion's been in everything tonight. Ricky Provenzali's had a few top 10 finishes here, and he was top 10 in the first race, 11th in the second race, currently sitting in 12th in this race. So a good bag of points from Ricky Provenzali. But Dion Jarvis, we've seen him race hard all night, and we're going to see him want to make a move, I'd suggest, on Ricky Provenzali pretty shortly, as we've seen Dion Jarvis race that way all night. But Ricky Provenzali's not going to have it his own way, as we're now 17 into 24. Tell you what, boys, you blink, you miss it, as we're back on board. Angus Cook having a good battle there. That's Michael Budge and Colby Cohen a part of that as well. So Angus Cook side by side with Colby Cohen. Colby's going to try and get the over and under here, but he's going to be on the wrong side of the road for the final turn. He's going to have to settle back in and get in the draft. This has allowed Michael Budge to come right up into this battle, as well as Budge gets really deep under the brakes there and nearly goes right into the back of Colby Cohen. So good driving on the nudge Budge there to not do the nudge into the back of Colby Cohen as they make their way down the front straight for the 18th time. And there is another punt, guys.
I did say you were full of them, and you're still into race 3, and you're still coming up with them. So you're having a solid night tonight, Hayden.
Mate, I hope you enjoy the call. I hope it makes it interesting, because it'd be boring if I just went, oh, Colby Cohen's passing Michael Budge.
Oh, mate, it's sensational. Yeah, it's very good.
But that's all right. Colby Cohen still trying to get that job done, though. Michael is making his car... Sorry, Michael trying to get that job done. And he's making that car. Colby's trying to get the job done, as I'm too busy thinking about puns, but he's finally got the job done now. But Angus was making his car very, very wide there. He held on for 2 laps, but that was as much as he could hold on for, as Captain Cook. That's right, Captain Cook. The hook, Captain Cook, it was Angus Cook. But Colby Cohen got the job done as they make their way down into turn number 1 for the 19th time. Well, yeah, 19th time of 24. So does Angus have anything to come back on for, though? Does he have anything to come back with Colby Cohen? Not sure whether he does at the moment. He's just going to have one eye in the mirror of Michael Budge in behind him. So the nudge Budge will be wanting to make his way up and make a move on Angus. But have a look, Adrian Gretsch has now come in a part of this as well. So this is a 4-car battle for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th in this motor races. We've just gone 20 into 24. The leaders have taken 20 into 24, as these guys will make their way across the start-finish line and go 20 of 24 tonight. So only 5 laps to go, and we'll decide who's going to be the winner here for race number 3. Round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series from Brands Hatch at the moment. It is Jamie Craig, Damon Mulqueen and Dave Olivier 3, but this is the battle we need to keep an eye on at the moment. It is Colby Cohen leading the way over Angus the Cook, Captain Cook there in the 8th position. Nudge Budge is in 9th as well. It looks like Nudgies. Called Nudge Budge. It's making me remind of what was that show back in the 90s with Nudge? You guys will know what it was.
Oh no, you've got me there, Aiden.
It's yeah, people
you're
know it.
You're going to have to leave your hind on that one.
Yeah, the people will know it. The person who was the main character in that unfortunately went to jail for things we don't need to talk about. So Nudge was the man. But anyway, I'm going to move straight along because that's making me look absolutely stupid. But that is Michael Budge there in the 9th position, still holding on to that top 10, just over Adrian Gretsch. So we're 21 and 24 now, only 3.5 laps to go, and we're going to decide a winner at the moment. Jamie Craig does have 1.7 seconds on Dave Oliver. So battle back here though. Ricky Provenzali, he's just made a bit of a mistake there through turn number 3, and that's allowed Dion Jarvis to get a run up the inside of him. Dion's going to be on the wrong side of the road though. He's just going to have to settle in behind Ricky Provenzali and see whether he can get a good run onto the main straight this time around and possibly make a move into turn number 1 or 2. Don't ride off Dan Green there in 14th as well. The Green Machine in 14th. He's going to rage up onto the back of this if these guys start battling as well. But he's got an absolute mirror full of Stevie Skukovic as well. So doesn't matter where you look, you've got battles all across the track here at the moment, guys. We've only got 3 laps to go.
It's just, it's nice to have see Stevie make a daring move there, just nudging Dan Green out of the way. But all in all, the racing tonight's been sensational. A lot of door-to-door, too wide through multiple corners. It's been very good to watch.
Yeah, it definitely has. And bar the 1 or 2 decent incidents that we've seen. It's been pretty clean racing all the way through. So it's been good, but look at this gap now. It is completely closed. So Anthony Holm has broken the gap between Brad Carr there, and Anthony Holm having a big look down the inside of Dave Oliver. This is the battle for third and fourth on the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. We're 2 to go, 23 of 24, only a lap and a half to go. Does Dave Oliver have enough to hold on to the third position over Anthony Holm, who's going to be speaking to us up here in the broadcast booth? I'm not sure who it's going to be. I tell you what, Anthony's not going to leave anything on the table as he takes a wider entry into the final turn, trying to get a good run on out of turn, the final turn rather, onto the main straight. So we've gone white flag. It's Jamie Craig and Damon Mulqueen leading the way. That's them making their way through turn number 1. But the battle we need to just go back and keep one eye on, as Jamie Craig is going to win this, is the battle for third and fourth. And Paul knew exactly what I was about to say. Dave Oliver, does he cover off into 1? He doesn't cover off enough. He tries to get the mid-corner speed. There's a little bit of contact through the mid-turn. Dave Oliver still holding on to that one over Anthony Holm as they make their way through turn number 3. Only 2 more corners to navigate. They're going to go 2 wide down into the final turn. We'll see who gets the better of that battle shortly, but it is Jamie Craig who's going to go 2 wins from 3 starts tonight and take home round number 3, race number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. Damon Mulqueen will come home in second, and Dave Oliver will just hold on for third place over Anthony Holm here for race number 3. What a good drive there, guys. As 5th position is Brad Carr, Adam Proctor in 6th position. Colby Cohen looks like he's just going to hold on and come home for the 7th position over Angus Cook, Michael Budge and Adrian Gretsch, rounding out your 10 as all the other drivers come across the start-finish line. And very shortly, we will bring up your final finishing positions here for round number 3, race number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series from Brands Hatch. But gentlemen, how good was that? Good to see you in the broadcast booth here, Jared. Unfortunate not to see you in the car, mate, but I hope you enjoyed your action in the broadcast booth and probably more so enjoyed my absolute ridiculous puns.
No, it's been insightful to say the least. But it's I'd say it's the next best thing some boys are up to some shenanigans going into the pit lane here. But no, it's been some quality racing. Good to watch from the boys here.
The funny thing, it's not often you rewind, Paul. We never do that. What's going on here?
Yes, this is just Dave things. This is Dave being Dave.
I thought that would have been a nudge the budge mood, but it wasn't. But that does bring you the end of race number 3, round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series, of course supported by iKitchen Joinery on your right-hand side. It was Jamie Craig coming home with the win, with Damon Mulqueen in second, Dave Oliver in third, Anthony Holm in fourth, just a little bit shy to be able to talk to us here on the broadcast booth, Brad Carr in fifth, Adam Proctor in sixth, Colby Cohen in seventh, Angus Cook in eighth, Michael the Nudge Budge in ninth, and Adrian Gretsch in 11. Adrian Gretsch in 10, Chris Stark in 11, Ricky Provenzali 12, Dion Jarvis in 13, Stevie Skukovic 14, Dan Green 15, Tafin didn't turn left, Manos Turkman in the 16th position, Andrew Franklin in 17th, Brian Bullock in 18th. In 19th position tonight was Long. In 20th was Dimitri Agathos, Brett Smith in 21st, Wayne Visser in 22nd, David Leslie 23rd, Russ Green in 24th, and rounding out your 25 starters here for race number 3 tonight was Martin Hallinan. So there we go, guys. Round number 3, come and gone before we even know it. You blink and you miss it. But another clinical showing by Jamie Craig tonight, almost taking all the points, coming from winning race number 1, coming from the last position in the reverse grid, coming to P5 in race number 2, and having an absolute dominant showing for the final race, race number 3 from the 39 of Jamie Craig.
Yeah, he's just showing he's the class of the field. I might have to get onto him during the week and ask him for some pointers, because he's just well and truly got these things down pat, and he's showing it every week.
100% he is. As we're just moving up the drivers into the broadcast booth, we'll start off with your third place getter tonight. Do photo, Dave Oliver, mate. Race number 1, she was a little bit interesting. Didn't finish the way you would have wanted. Put you off the front row for race number 2. You made every post a winner in race number 2. You couldn't quite hold on to your teammate there of Damon to come home in P number 2 and come home with a 3rd position in race number 3, just narrowly holding on from the 96 at Anthony Hole. Mate, you got to be happy with the podium after the way that your night started.
Yeah, I'm dripping in sweat. That was actually kind of tough. But yeah, quali did okay. A bit distracted with other stuff happening. But yeah, that crash avoidance and stuff didn't necessarily go to plan in the first race. And yeah, the car was toast, unfortunately. So yeah, pretty much I was 4 laps down by the time I got it fixed up and the penalty and stuff for avoiding and all that. But yeah, second race, luckily was just able to keep it clean at the start and wait for some of the quicker guys to catch up, and had Damon behind and all that, and he got past. He's a bit more experienced with these cars, so it's good to kind of at least follow and learn off him. But because I didn't have the lap, the race laps under my belt from the first race, I cooked the tyres. So yeah, come third race, I kind of knew what had to do, but the front 2 guys, Jamie had a great launch off the start in the third race there, and both he and Damon kind of just gradually pulled away. And towards the end, yeah, the tyres were starting to go off there, and I could see Anthony catching up once he got past Brad. I think Brad made a mistake with about 5 to go. So I kind of knew it was going to be very close at the end there. So it's a great little battle in the last lap with Anthony. But I think afterwards he mentioned he kind of lifted out because he thought I was going to come across in the grass. So, but either way, it was a bloody good race. And it's after the first 2 weeks, it's kind of good to just, have a good result. So pretty happy with tonight. So
yeah, it's definitely good to see the 668 back up into the broadcast booth here on the InterSim Esports Network. I'll just quickly go back to race number 2 though and mention you were leading and Damon was in behind you. It looked like he was just happy to follow you for a little bit, sort of through the mid-sector of that race. But then I was looking at live timing, and Brad Carr brought that gap down from about 3 seconds to just under 2 seconds, and that's where we saw Damon make the move on you. Was that a little bit of team orders and, like you said, cook the tyres a little bit and go, Damon, you can have it, because if we keep going like this, Brad's going to catch up to us? Was that what we saw?
I think it was just more of I cooked the tyres, and Damon must have, we weren't actually in the same channel, funnily enough, so it was all, hand signals and stuff. Nah, not really, but
teammates
it was
not in the same channel.
I know, a bit different. But yeah, it was a case of, I knew that he would be all right to follow and stuff, but even then Brad was, catching up at the end there. So, but yeah, it was just a good round. So
Well, we were lucky enough to have Jared Knight up into the broadcast booth with us tonight, and he saw what it was like in behind the cameras and heard a lot of the rubbish that comes out of my mouth on the broadcast booth. So, Jared, mate, I'll give you the opportunity. Have a bit of a chat to Dave if you like, mate. First time up into the broadcast booth. You race with him week in, week out. Have a bit of a chat with him.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see you back up in the up the pointy end of the field, Dave. Unfortunately, Aiden's taken the words out of my mouth a little bit. I was sort of going to ask you if it was a little bit of team comms as well with Damon tucking in behind. But I'm aware that Damon is pretty speedy in these things, and you might have just tucked in behind yourself. But yeah, all in all, good night, mate. It's good to see you back up the top.
Yeah, especially after last week's slap on the wrist. It's it was a good round.
We did see you. We did. Sorry, Jared. We did see during the broadcast. Oz Turkman, as I call him now, couldn't turn left man. He did a little bit of a spreadsheety thing up for the broadcast, and we saw you were a bit of a naughty boy last week, and you got a mention for that in the broadcast booth tonight, mate.
Yeah, not a great round, but live and learn. Lessons are learned. Move on, and on to the next one.
Most definitely, mate. But we'll let you go and get that well-deserved beverage and maybe a towel to wipe down that sweat, because it sounds like you're a little bit buggered here after what was a good night of racing. But the 668 Dave Oliver P3 tonight, your chance. Big shout out to everyone involved for your podium.
Yeah, firstly to the Synergy sim racing guys, all our sponsors, to Andrew from Molecule, Anthony from iKitchen, to you guys for doing the broadcast, and yeah, all the close racing tonight.
No worries at all. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your third place getter tonight here for round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. It was the 668 Synergy Sim Racing entry of Dave Oliver, which leads us straight across to his teammate, the Kiwi himself, Elmo, as we can call him. He can do his whole, you can do your whole interview here in the Elmo voice if you want to, mate. I'm not going to hold you back. But the 42 of Damon Mulqueen, mate, showed a lot of pace tonight, there or thereabouts. Didn't quite have enough for Jamie Craig, who's shown to be the master in these cars. But first time out in the series, mate, you got to be happy with that with a couple of podiums.
Yeah, can't complain too much. No, I'm not going to do the Elmo voice. I'm too buggered
after
all that. After the amount of racing we've done.
Boo, boo.
Gosh, shut up, you. But good to come and have a bit of a run. Unfortunately, just towards the end of quali, the internets said no. So I unfortunately didn't get to start off P4 or P5, wherever it was I was meant to be. So when I got back in, I was a lap or so down. So I just thought I'd stick in behind and follow the guys in race 1. And then there was some shenanigans going on and somehow got caught up in that. And that put me another lap down because I had to come back in and get one of the pit guys to kick the car a couple of times and sort it out. And yeah, just continued on just to sort of get a rough idea on what the tyres are going to be like during the race, and still probably push them a wee bit too hard. But it's my first time in these cars here at Brands, so definitely a nice wee learning curve. The more driving you do, the better you work out how things go. And then race 2. Just once I got to Dave, I thought I'd just stick in there behind him for a wee while, and then I was just occasionally looking down and seeing whoever it was behind us, getting him a little bit closer and closer, and then I just started sizing Dave up for a bit of a run somewhere and got one and just made it easy. Made it easy to get by, obviously. Could have sent him to the gravel, but I'm a little bit too nice when I'm on the track. And then finished it off in P1. Would have liked to have come through the field if it wasn't for the dropout before race 1. But I'll take it. And then in the third race it was the Audis with their speedy starts. They're just unmatched in the start department when it comes to the 3 different TCRs we've got here on the service. And it just became, after I made a wee mistake in the first couple of laps, it just sticking behind, see if I can stay behind, and then I think I burnt up the fronts just a wee bit too much trying to stay with, experimenting with a few lines from time to time. But just got to take it as it comes, and to pop into a series where it's a couple of rounds in and not end up getting in anyone's way too much. I think I've done all right for the night.
Yeah, you did a good job, and it must be a thing for Kiwis this week, mate, because you're always quick in everything you drive, but you got to be happy. The Kiwi of Scotty McLaughlin, will mention on that, come away with a first ever career IndyCar win at St. Pete on the weekend. So channeling a little bit of inner Scotty McLaughlin tonight, and we see another Kiwi on the podium.
Yeah, I still haven't actually seen the race yet. I was sort of still
spoilers.
In bed. Yeah. Mate, don't worry. The moment I woke up,
buried in the sand if he hasn't seen it on socials.
Well, the first thing was as soon as I woke up Monday morning or whatever it was, and just out of habit looked at Facebook, refreshed it, and it's like, oh, okay, that ruins that for me. So I don't know if I was channeling much of the old Scotty Mac or not, but I've always sort of felt pretty strong in these when I don't step on it myself. So I'll take it.
Well, Jared, over to you, mate. You haven't. Well, I think you've raced against Damon quite a bit, but not in this series so far, and obviously you couldn't hop behind the wheel of the car tonight and up here in the broadcast booth. So over to you, mate. A little bit of a chat with Damon.
Yeah, welcome to the series, Damon. Just you sort of found yourself in most positions throughout the field tonight. How did you sort of find the general racing amongst the boys? I heard got caught up with some shenanigans in race one, but how was the racing? Or how'd you find it?
Well, race one was kind of a bit of a write-off because, as I said, I missed the start due to the internet saying no, and I got back into the server about once a lap was complete or something. So I just tucked in and just let the guys around me do their thing. I just cruised around, and then the shenanigans happened, but I'm already down the back, so there's not really too much use complaining about it. And then when it came to race two, starting up the front, and same with race three, I didn't really get to play with the field as much as I would have liked if I managed to finish up the front in the first race. So it's kind of difficult to say because, in race 2 and 3, up the front, basically no traffic. And then when you're out of position and a lap down, it's not worth, going in and trying to pass every car on the field because you're just going to end up messing their races up, and it's not really worth it in the end. And you've got more chance of getting yourself caught up and getting penalties and whatnot and accidents and maybe not even finishing.
Yeah, 100%. Are we going to see you next week? Second question. Are you going to follow it up with? I believe it's Long Beach. We're at next week.
I haven't thought that far ahead. I think Dave and I were talking on the weekend or just before the weekend, and he mentioned it, and then it's like the other day I messaged him like, "Tell me more," and then that's how I've popped in for tonight. And yeah, so potentially we'll see how it goes. Long Beach and I aren't really good friends. To be fair, Street Circuits and I are not very good friends. Aiden and PJ already know about Belle Isle, so we won't go there. But yeah, we'll wait and see how the next week goes. We've got a pretty busy weekend as well.
Well, Damon, hopefully we do see you here for round number 4 at Long Beach, because I'd love to call you in the wall as opposed to being at the front, because it makes me feel a little bit more human when I hop on the iRacing service as a driver, mate. So we'll see how we go. But, mate, P2 tonight, as we said, you've got to be absolutely stoked with that one. First time out in the series. Big shout out to all those sponsors, everyone involved.
Yeah, firstly, thanks to the guys at Synergy Sim Racing for bearing a pretty awesome Hyundai there for me tonight. All the sponsors that we've got on the cars, you already know, there's a giant list of them, so they all know who they are. To the series admins, sponsors, and you guys as well for broadcasting, just a massive thank you. And cheers for letting me come in and harass Dave tonight.
No worries at all, mate. Our absolute pleasure, and good to see you get a P2 up here and Synergy Sim Racing 2 and 3. But there you go, your second place getter tonight. It was the 42 Synergy Sim Racing entry out of New Zealand, Damon Mulqueen. But it's taken us about 10 minutes to get there. No stranger to the broadcast booth here for the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. Your winner again, the 39er Jamie Craig, mate. I've got that chair engraved. I'll tell you what, another win. You got these things mastered.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night. The track was pretty hot in qualifying, so managed to get a lap in on the first lap out, and then that was about as good as it got. And then, race one was just all about getting a good start and managing the tyres. I think Anthony behind me knew pretty similar what I was trying to do, just trying to cruise around and save the tyres, and it paid off because we ended up with a 10-second gap by the end of the race. And then race 2 was a bit of a crazy race. It took me 4 or 5 laps to get through the first few cars at the back. And then, had a few good battles and got through to, I think, 5th by the end of the race, and was catching Damon and Dave and those guys pretty quick at the end, which I think I was, after that, seeing the gap come down at the end, I was pretty confident on tyres for race 3. And then, race 3 just got a mega launch, got straight into P2. Dave gave me a bit of a nudge at turn 2, was a bit of a hurry up, and then Damon made that little mistake, and that's the only invitation I needed to get past him, and from there, just sort of managed the gap, held it at sort of 3 or 4 tenths to try and save the tyres, and then the last 5 or 6 laps, stretched my legs and pulled it out to 2 seconds. So it was an awesome night.
Well, you did a great job. Another time up in the winner's circle. You're going to extend your championship lead at the top heading into round number 4 next week. We just heard Damon say what he thought about street circuits. Heading into Long Beach next week, mate, it's definitely going to throw a spanner in the works. How are you feeling? How do you think the 39 is going to go? Are you going to be able to back that up again and try and get another W here for the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series?
Oh, I mean, I'd like to hope so. Pretty confident in these cars, and Long Beach, you need a lot of confidence in the car. So I think we'll be all right. Been pretty quick there before last year in the Porsche series, so we'll give it a good crack, see how we go.
Well, Jared, I'll jump across to you, mate. I've let you talk to the other two. So you've done a lot of laps with Jamie Craig and raced against him door handle on several occasions, mate. So your chance to have a little bit of a chat to Jamie, mate.
Yeah, I've just got one question for Jamie for his that mega launch in race 3. That was unbelievable. What's your secret?
Oh, I can't tell you that, mate. I can't tell you that.
It's driving out.
Trying something new. It's not just the standard launch. So just try something different.
Is this where we use the M word and say macros?
There's no macros.
Sorry, I had to, mate. I had to. With all this stuff going across. Anyway, I'll leave you to it. Sorry, I'll shut up.
But the class drive, mate. That was all night. Just controlled that first race and methodically picked your way through in race 2. I think you said you got up to P5, which is solid effort on a relatively small track and only a few passing opportunities. But yeah, class drive, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. It was just all about the tyres this round and just trying to make the car do a lap time without hurting the tyres too much and using a few different lines compared to other guys, which sort of seemed to help. Yeah.
Well, sensational job, mate, from everyone here at the InterSim Esports Network. No surprise to see you taking home another W tonight. It won't be the last time we see you up here in the broadcast booth, I suggest, here for the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. But Jamie Craig, the 39, mate, big shout out to all those sponsors and everyone for your P1 tonight.
Yeah, big shout out to Beaches, Cedo and Can-Am on the car. And then just a big shout out to you guys, Dave and Brett and the other guys that manage the series. And then our sponsors, Molecule and iKitchen, for sponsoring us and letting us do what we do, and the other drivers for a good race. It was an awesome battle with Damon there in the last one and Anthony in the first one. So looking forward to the next one.
No worries at all. We look forward to bringing you all the action around Long Beach. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your first place getter tonight, the 39 of Jamie Craig. It was Damon Mulqueen coming home in second place with Dave Oliver in third place with the Synergy Sim Racing 2 and 3. Do they have anything for Jamie Craig in round number 4 from Long Beach next week? We'll quickly go through your final standings once again here for round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. It was Jamie Craig, Damon Mulqueen and Dave Oliver, year 3. Anthony Holm, Brad Carr, Adam Proctor, Colby Cohen, Angus Cook, Michael Budge and Adrian Gretsch, year 10. Chris Stark in 11th, Problem Dali in 12th, Dion Jarvis in 13th, Stevie Skukovic in 14th, Dan Green 15th, Typhon Ozturkman, I can't pronounce that right, but he's can't turn left man tonight. That's sorry, Typhon, for that one. Franklin and Bullock, your 18th. In 19th tonight was Long. In 20th was Dimitri Agathos. Smith, Visser, Leslie, Green and Hallinan rounded out your 25. But that brings to you the end of round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series here from Brands Hatch. But it does not stop here on the InterSim Esports Network. We're live with you once again tomorrow night, where we'll bring you the next round of the Sky Point TCR League, and we're at the same location. We're at Brands Hatch, but we're going Grand Prix circuit. So same track, different layout. We'll go live here, live on the InterSim Esports Network from 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. Then we'll go live again. We'll have a couple of days break and we'll go live again next Sunday night for the next round of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series for the big dance, the big one, the Indy 400 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Same time, same place, 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. But then make sure you're tuning in here again next Tuesday night, where we're going to bring you the next round number 4 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. We're going street circuit racing, and your location is Long Beach. Are we going to see Jamie Craig back up into the winner's circle once again? Are we going to see Damon Mulqueen, Dave Oliver try and get another podium? Or are we going to see someone else jump up and surprise us? Tune in here on the Indysim Esports Network next Tuesday night so you can find out who's going to take that one home live from 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. A big thank you to Jared Knight for jumping into the broadcast booth tonight. It was a pleasure to have you in here, mate. Look forward to seeing you behind the wheel next Tuesday night. But from myself, Paul, and everyone at the Indysim Esports Network, that brings an end to round number 3 of the Molecule Australia Procar TCR E-Series. We hope you enjoyed all the action, and we wish you a good night.